Hey everyone, my name is Taps and I love X-Men. I collected the comics when I was a kid, I had a bunch of toys, and I'm very excited to see Marvel drop X-Men on Veve. So I wanted to cover the comics that just dropped and what are some of the collectibles that we can possibly see coming to the Veve app from Ecomi and Marvel. As always, if you're new to the channel, welcome to the community and feel free to subscribe. I'm a crypto, stock, and real estate investor, but never a financial advisor. So this feels pretty cool because I actually did a video back in May where I said, we'll definitely be seeing X-Men once the Marvel drops start coming. I wasn't really expecting the comics to come first before actually seeing X-Men collectibles in our showrooms, but we do know that Marvel is going to be doing a lot of drops. They got a long way to catch up to DC on the collectible side, so we will probably be seeing those in our showroom soon enough. But this week we have 3 drops just like last week, right? On the comics, the blind boxes. So we just saw the New Mutants drop this morning, which, hey, I mean, 60,000 editions sold out in 1 second. I mean, they just keep selling out so fast. I was only able to actually get 4. But tomorrow we have the House of X dropping, which I would love to get this variant of Gambit. There's 50,000 of those dropping. And then the Marvel's #1 also dropping Thursday with 60,000 of those. Today was 60K sold out. Tomorrow's 50K. Thursday is another 60K editions. That's gonna be another 170,000 editions and another $1.1 million in sales in 1 week, following a previous drop last week that did the exact same numbers. We keep demanding more and more updates, right? From Veve and Ecomi to make changes and to grow. Well, these sales are racking up, which I imagine means they're going to continue to spend that money to grow the team and to keep scaling. Also, by the time Marvel month is over, that's going to be well over 500,000, over 500,000 editions of Marvel dropped content in a month that has sold out. So this is a great stress test for bigger drops from massive licensors like Marvel to see if these high editions will be successful and how a new digital product will actually perform on Veve. Anyway, back to the comics. X-Men is actually the #1 selling comic in the world, and we can see that the copy of X-Men #1 just became one of the most expensive comics ever after selling for $807,300 just in July. So the X-Men comics are very much coveted, so I'm happy to see them on Veve. We saw David Hughes show a picture of him next to Robert Liefeld, which he's actually the writer who did the New Mutants drop that just came out. And so Rob has actually had a pretty avid career in several different, in Marvel comics, and he's done New Mutants, he's done X-Factor, Wolverine, Captain America, Cable. Cable's my favorite X-Men, so I would love to see Cable come to Veve in comic form or in collectible form. He's done Teen Titans. He's done, of course, Deadpool. Your boy Deadpool just dropped on the comics. When he actually drops in the Veve app, people are gonna lose their minds. So he's definitely done a lot of work in different comics. And I think the comics are cool, and obviously sold very well as a new digital product in Veve. And I think there will be an entire collector base that loves these digital comics, but I'm really excited for the collectibles, right? So I want to know, when are we going to see the X-Men collectibles come? And what will they look like? Because I want to see those X-Men in my showroom scaring my Myrmicornos with their freaky mutant abilities. So Veve tends to go for the highest selling or most popular collectibles. So there are some really, really high selling and cool looking collectible statues in X-Men. Like Cable is one of the highest selling, and I love this collectible. You can also see Deadpool. I mean, looks like it's directly from the movie where he hopped off that Vespa. Gambit's one of the OG X-Men. There are a lot of really cool statues, and again, these are all from Sideshow. So we've seen a lot of the collectibles come in Veve from Sideshow statue collectibles. You can see Colossus here, and there's plenty more, but when we look at the best sellers in Sideshow on Marvel's side, I mean, there's tons of them from Captain America. Of course, you have all the Iron Mans and Spideys, but we could see the Juggernaut. We could see Wolverine. And I wouldn't be surprised, actually, like there's a bunch of like pretty cutesy things also in Veve that appeal to different audiences. And so these X-Men mini company figures, I would not be surprised if we actually saw these come to Veve as well. I actually really like this Jean Grey one of her standing on Sentinel's head. And when we look at the collectibles, we always see the artists who are aligned with those collectibles, right? Well, there are tons of artists who have done X-Men work, but the biggest name on the most well-known X-Men comic, #1 most selling, is of course Jim Lee, right? So we've seen Jim Lee's work with the Jim Lee Joker in Veve's collectibles already. But what about Jim Lee's other collectibles, which he has quite a lot in X-Men? So we can see there are some big ones here from Magneto and Cyclops, and we saw that Colossus again, Wolverine. We can see Psylocke, different versions of Wolverine, right? Again, Magneto, another version of Gambit. We've got old school Sabretooth. This is actually my favorite version of Sabretooth. Professor X, Beast, and Jean Grey. I mean, there are so many collectibles that are aligned with Jim Lee and his art in general. So I would love to see some more Jim Lee come specifically on the X-Men side to Veve's collectibles. And we saw that the Marvels comic is actually going to be dropping on Thursday. And this one specifically caught my eye because I really liked the artwork, but then I started digging into it and I saw that it was created by Kurt Busiek and Alex Ross. And Alex Ross has done a lot in the space. I mean, he's created tons of different toys. He's won a ton of different Eisner Comic Awards, Harvey Awards, and he's worked with pretty much every comic company. He's worked for DC Comics, Dynamite Entertainment, Eclipse Comics, Image Comics, Marvel Comics, DC Comics. But when I was looking into specifically the toys that he's aligned with and the collectibles, I didn't see as much X-Men. Instead, I saw a lot more DC. So we know his comic is dropping on Thursday, but I believe we'll see collectibles from him as well, but maybe not on the X-Men side. But looking at some of the DC collectibles he's dropped, this one immediately jumped out because I believe this one's available in black and white from looking at the 100 or so black and white Batmans that have dropped, but this one is specifically a black and white Batman. So we've already seen 4 series of black and white Batmans dropped, right? We're gonna see more of them come. And so looking at some of the collectibles, he's done a lot of Batman, he's done a lot of Superman and Justice League. He's even done some Wonder Woman. I mean, I think this one's pretty cool as well. He does have this version of Wolverine, which I think looks really cool as well. So if we were to see maybe an X-Men come from Alex Ross, it would most likely be this Wolverine. But we'll for sure be seeing more DC collectibles from Alex Ross in our showrooms. Now, the X-Men comics took me by surprise. I wasn't expecting to see them in comic form before the collectibles. But what if that's not the only version of some of the Marvel brands that we'll be seeing like this? It's a great way for them to reveal a big new brand, even if it's from a current licensor, and build up suspense to the collectibles that we'll be seeing as well. So when we look at the top 10 comics of all time, let's take a look and see what is the one that stands out. Number 10 is Action Comics, which we can see Superman, which we have in our showrooms as a collectible, right? Number 9 is Detective Comics, where we can see Batman. We have plenty of Batman and DC in our showroom. Next is Spider-Man. So Spider-Man just hit our showroom the beginning of this month as a start for the Marvel drop. Secret Wars is a ton of different characters from Marvel. We can see Captain Marvel right there, who we have not yet seen in our showroom, but that's not the one I want to highlight. It's still in line with Marvel, right? But more obvious than maybe something else that is in this top 10 list. Number 6, again, Spider-Man. Number 5, Spider-Man. Spider-Man cleans up on the comics. Number 4 is Batman again. And then number 3 is the Fantastic Four, which we just saw drop last week on comic form. Now I already shared this, but number 1 is actually X-Men. And it's actually the Jim Lee illustration and versions that he worked on for many, many years. But what's number 2? What is the second most sold comic in the world and is also a Marvel brand under their license? Now, of course, this isn't confirmed, but we've seen basically 9 out of the 10 top heroes from DC and Marvel in collectible form or in the comics, but the number 2 highest selling comic is surprisingly Star Wars. We know that Star Wars is owned by Marvel now. Veve follows the money, right? What sells? What has the largest fandom? Star Wars has one of the largest fandoms, and we can see it is one of the most sold and coveted comics. I'm wondering if we see Star Wars revealed similar how we just saw X-Men revealed, right? They drop a comic first and then we see the collectibles later. The collectibles are highly sold and most popular as well. Guys, I believe it's just a time until we see some of Mr. Lucas's work grace our showrooms. As always, I hope you found my content valuable, and if so, please hit the like button and leave a comment down below. Comments and likes appease the algo overlords and help my channel to continue to grow. And if you haven't yet, please hit the subscribe button and notification bell for future content. That's it for today. I'm Taps. Thank you for your time and happy trading.